meet Donna Adelson from Coral Springs, Florida. I want to hear all about you, Donna. Let's go.
Well, I'm a domestic coordinator.
A domestic coordinator?
Yes. I'm responsible for the activities, classes, and lessons of my son Robert, who is 16, Charlie, who is 12, Wendy, who is 10, my husband Harvey, who's in the audience, and my dog Sam.
All right. And how old is Sam?
5.
5. Well, good. Give him our best. Nice to have you here. And this vowels word nothing. Consonants are going to be words. Can we get 800? We can. All right. So I'm writing on this. Again, person is a category. Stu, still your turn. Letter, please. L. Nope, no L. Donna.
M.
Yes, there are 2 M's. Let them come up. You have 5 seconds. Person. Alan. K. Yes, K.
Mustard maker.
Nope,
Mustard
still
maker.
Stu.
H, please.
Yes, there's 1 H. Time starts now. Person. Donna.
F.
Yes.
Mischief maker.
Yeah, that's...
Nice.
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record.
Okay. How is everybody? Hello, Jane. Hello, Maestro. Hello, Doris. Dark Side of the Moon, Beverly Lawyer, Ruth Lang. Mia Wallace, how is everybody doing? So I wanted to talk about Donna Adelson and her hit list. Now, she says this isn't true, and we're going to have to wait to trial to see if it is true. But the filings have been sealed for the most part. I'll show you how this information is dealt with in the filings in a second. But the allegation is that Donna Adelson, using her lawyer's watch, okay, so meaning she's having a meeting. This is how I see it. This is what I think they mean, is that when her lawyers came to visit her, they let her use their Apple Watch to call Harvey, to communicate with Harvey. Harvey was then wiretapped, and his communications with a jailhouse snitch indicate that she, and other communications indicate that she was trying to murder 3 other people. And this is why I've been saying all along that Robert Adelson will be one of the strongest witnesses in Donna Adelson's trial should he testify. She wanted to murder her own son, Robert Adelson, the middle woman in this murder, Charlie Adelson's ex-girlfriend, Katie Magbanua, who also testified in Charlie Adelson's trial. She was given a life sentence, but after that, she became a cooperating witness, hoping to reduce her life sentence. Also have some information on Katie Magbanua to show you. So some just total wildness from her former lawyer, Chris DeCoste. And during this, and also the third person was Drina Bernhardt's mother. So the government snitch, let me show you who I'm talking about here. A minute. That's Drina Zita Bernhardt. So she was in Leon County Jail with Donna Adelson. And what we believe that she's going to testify for the prosecution is that Donna Adelson was offering her money, maybe something else, something. Maybe it was care packages. Maybe it was commissary. Maybe it was something else to give favorable testimony. And she was soliciting favorable testimony for herself in jail. That's what we think. And I believe, the impression that I've been given by the media is that Drina Bernhardt wasn't the only person in Donna Adelson's art class and in Leon County Jail in general who she was offering money to testify favorably, because we saw that hearing with Donna earlier where she said she wanted to preserve the testimony of two other jailhouse inmates who said that Katie Magbanua, some of it was really vague, that Katie had some kind of tattoo. I don't know how that helps Donna, but okay. But that they heard Katie say that she set up, that basically she was an extortionist, basically reviving Charlie Adelson's failed defense, that they murdered Dan Markel on spec and then extorted money out of Charlie Adelson. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and allowed him to pay on time. But they were incredibly generous moment for the Latin Kings there to allow Charlie Adelson to pay $3,000 a month. Of course, Charlie Adelson was tailoring a story to the evidence, so they know that they paid Katie Magbanua, so he had to come up with a reason why he paid her. And if you listen to the jailhouse calls between Charlie and Donna, they're shocked that the jury didn't go for it, but that Katie was extorting him for money after this murder of Dan Markel, the Florida State University law professor who was in a custody battle with Wendy Adelson, who's Donna Adelson's daughter and Charlie Adelson's sister. So it's murder is a family affair. Can we look at some of these? Let's see. Here's Donna and Charlie and Harvey in better times when the Adelson Institute was still going. There's Donna just working in her scrubs. And there's the whole Adelson Institute staff, Charlie, Harvey, and Donna, all working together in better times. And there's a very young picture of Donna Adelson, Donna Sue, when she was Donna Sue Jacobs. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We know the FBI wiretap. The state looks like they came in at the end of 2024, early 2025, and asked for a wiretap on Harvey Adelson's phone. And they claim they came up with this. So let's look. First, we're going to look at what makes this just so amazing is that after all this was public, let's see if this actually brings it up. I can bring it up in a different way. If this may come up blank for you guys. That's what I'm worried about here. Hold on one second. Yeah, let me bring it up this way. Hold on one second. Just okay, so here is the defense motion from Donna Adelson's defense team. They asked to remove Judge Everett after this became public, and I'll read it to you. Donna Adelson, actually, you know what? I'm going about this back. Well, I'll go about it backwards. I guess this is kind of a backwards way. But Donna S. Adelson, by and through the undersized counsel, person to the Florida Rule of General Practices of Judicial Administration, Section 810, Florida statutes, moves for disqualification of the Honorable Stephen Everett from the case, and in support, therefore, states as follows. For the reason set forth below, Mrs. Adelson moves that this court be disqualified from hearing this case. This is an initial motion to disqualify the trial judge in the case. Mrs. Adelson is charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder. She faces a mandatory life sentence if convicted as charged. You know, if she were even facing something lesser for this, but once murder for hires are looked at in most states, and Florida is no different, just as if you had pulled the trigger yourself. And on October 22, 2024, the undersigned counsel filed their notice of appearance on Mrs. Adelson's behalf on December 19, 2024, while the case was pending before Judge Everett, and after new counsel was retained due to the disqualification of prior counsel, that's Dan Rashbaum. Judge Everett engaged in ex parte communications with the Office of State Attorney. So that's the SAO. So this is the state's attorney's office. It's hereby will be referred to as SAO. Neither of Mrs. Adelson's counsel were present, nor was Mrs. Adelson present. Okay. And then move to the second page. So do you see that big backed out portion? Spoiler alert there. That's where they're talking about this allegation. Specifically, the chief investigator for the state's attorney presented an application for a warrant requesting communication records and an affidavit resulting in Judge Everett authorizing the December 19th, 2024 warrant requesting communication records for Harvey Adelson's cellular phone. The affidavit presented to Judge Everett in support of the application includes the following allegation, italicized and bolden with no factual basis. So what was that allegation? And I'm going to return to this in a few. So the allegation was, according to Court TV, who actually may have seen some of the unredacted records in this case. And we know that some records concerning Robert Adelson were released and then pulled and sealed. But a few things leaked out. One is that Robert Adelson said in his deposition with Donna Adelson's new lawyers that his mother is not easily fooled and that his mother is a very self-interested person. I mean, I think I'd call that the understatement of the year. But I think, should he testify to what he saw, the attitudes of the Adelson family concerning Dan Markel's murder, that unlike him, who was very interested in finding out who killed Danny, or Dan Markel, Danny as they knew him, the rest of the Adelson family, so Robert this is the oldest son, was very interested in finding out what happened to Dan Markel. But Charlie, Harvey, Donna, and Wendy weren't the least bit interested in solving this mystery, because, of course, it wasn't a mystery to them, because, I mean, Harvey and Wendy remain unindicted co-conspirators in this case, but no one in the family was interested or curious as to what happened to Dan Markel, because, of course, they all knew what happened to Dan Markel. In the defense motion to take depositions was rejected on sealing, Donna's attorneys revealed that prosecutors disclosed new discovery on April 7th, 2025, and this is sealed if you go on the Leon County records. This discovery included previously undisclosed investigative work and wiretaps of conversations between a jailhouse informant. Who's this jailhouse informant? We're talking about this woman, Drina Bernhardt. Drina Bernhardt. Okay. And Harvey Adelson. But Donna's attorneys say that the affidavits presented to the judge lied. They lied. They lied. They're not true. They lied about the contents of conversations between Donna and her husband, and alleged that among the false allegations were accusations the defendant and her spouse were engaged in conversations by the use of the undersigned, meaning her lawyer's, cell phone watch. They say cell phone / watch. So not only did they let her communicate with Harvey using their watch, that's what the state says, but they also let Donna communicate with Harvey using their cell phones. So going back, the defendant and her spouse were engaged in conversations by use of the undersigned, so her lawyer's, cell phone / watch to plan harm. Okay, that's lawyer speak, plan harm. Okay, because it really wouldn't matter if Robert Adelson, Katherine Magbanua, and the mother of a jailhouse snitch, right, were harmed. They could all come and testify in a wheelchair if they had to, on one leg, a thumb missing, whatever. So what plan harm means is to plan to murder them, right? The defendant and her spouse were engaged in conversations by the use of the undersigned cell phone watch to plan harm to Robert Adelson, Katherine Magbanua, and the mother of a jailhouse snitch. Donna's defense used those affidavits presented to Judge Edvert as evidence of an ex parte communication between the judge and prosecution in her previous request to have the judge recuse himself. The First District Court of Appeals denied Donna's appeal of Judge Everett's refusal to step down, noting it's routine for trial judges to review warrant applications and then preside over the resulting criminal trials. Donna's attorneys want to know how the accusations could impact Robert's potential testimony against his mother. They also want to depose Sergeant Chris Corbett, who testified in Magbanua's and Charlie's trials about the wiretaps and phone records and about the timeline of the investigation. Basically, what her lawyers have done, I mean, they have filed a motion in limine, meaning a motion to throw out, bar from the court, almost all the evidence that the state has. They've filed a motion to throw out the evidence of Wendy's divorce, her divorce proceedings, among other things, that nobody can comment on the wiretaps. They want travel as consciousness of guilt, that whole concept, to be thrown out, which I didn't fly the first time, and I don't think it'll fly this time. Charlie was convicted of hiring hitmen to kill Markel, and his attorneys were removed on the eve of jury selection of his mother, and his attorneys were removed on the eve of jury selection his attorney really was removed on the eve of jury selection for his mother after Judge Everett determined there was a conflict of interest. Why they didn't determine that earlier, is amazing to me, and why they took Dan Rashbaum on his word for anything, but okay. The court is not even aware of the depth of that prior conflict. Donna's attorneys told the judge on Friday, "We don't intend to go in and ask the same questions that have been asked before. That's not our purpose, but we have a right to inquire as to what we want to know to represent her at trial. If it's something new," this is Georgia Kappelman, the state prosecutor for the state. "If it's something new, great. Let's depose them on that. That's not a waste of everyone's time." Kappelman responded. Sounds heavy with sarcasm, but maybe it wasn't. So there is that. So what does this say about? It says that Donna Adelson is deeply afraid of anything Robert Adelson has to say. And that's one of the reasons that her lawyers deposed him and sealed his deposition, is they're deadly afraid of anything he might say. And they've also tried to bar any of his opinions on Donna from the trial, saying, well, opinions aren't fact. But I think his opinion of his mother's character is highly relevant in this case. We'll see the way Everett rules on it. See how limited Robert Adelson's testimony will be. But I think he can say a lot about the atmosphere and the conversations that were going on within the family after Dan Markel's murder. So it's no mystery to me why she wanted to, let's use her lawyer's euphemism, remove Robert Adelson from being a witness in this case in an illegal way. But to put out a hit on your own son is pretty cold-blooded, but so is Donna. Katherine Magbanua, again, I've always said I predicted before Charlie's trial she would be an excellent witness when all the true crime talking heads were saying, oh, she's going to be a horrible witness because she has a history of lying. I knew she would be a strong witness. She was a strong witness against Charlie Adelson. Ditto Luis Rivera. And so I'm not surprised, but we're going to take a look at her testimony in a minute. And Drina Bernhardt's mother, I don't know. That remains to be seen. I would think that her mother would be on the receiving end of any goods commissary. The state says that they have a picture from Donna to Drina. So unless this picture is somewhat symbolic, which would be great if it were, I don't know what, if it was an actual, some kind of map to do something, or if it was some kind of reference to something illegal Donna wanted done, that would be interesting, but I doubt it. I think it's probably just a picture that Donna Adelson made in art class, painted in art class, and gave to Drina to show the jury that indeed they were friends. In the same vein, we saw yesterday that the defense has a Christmas card and artwork that what Drina made for Donna. So, and many of the state's witnesses are also on the defense witnesses. So let's take a look at Katie Magbanua's testimony. This is the testimony Donna once silenced.
To give will be the truth. You may take your seat. Please speak loudly and clearly.
Yes, Your Honor. Ma'am, please say your name and spell your name.
Katherine Magbanua, Katherine Magbanua.
I see that you're in jail clothes. Are you currently in custody?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you in custody for?
The murder?
Are you doing a sentence for murder?
Yes, ma'am.
You were convicted of murder?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the murder of Dan Markell?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a trial in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you testify?
Yes, ma'am.
You testified on your own behalf.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And when you testified, were you truthful with the jury?
No, ma'am. I was not.
Did you take the same oath that you just took today in your own trial?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your defense when you were tried?
That I had nothing to do with it.
All right. That we got it right in reference to Charlie Adelson and we got it right in reference to the killers,
Yes,
but you
ma'am.
weren't in the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that true?
No, ma'am, it was not.
Were you in the middle?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And didn't you also testify in the trial in which Sigfredo Garcia was convicted of murder?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And what was his defense?
That he had nothing to do with it.
That we got it right in reference to Charlie Adelson and we got it right in reference to the killers, but he had nothing to do with it.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Objection, Your Honor. B.
Overruled, Ms. Cattleman, make sure you present any questions.
And was that defense truthful?
No, ma'am, it was not.
So Sigfredo Garcia was involved.
Yes, ma'am, he was.
So why tell the truth now?
I believe that the truth needed to come out now so that the family can get some type of closure.
Why didn't the truth need to come out last year or the year before or the year before that?
I was trying to defend myself.
You were trying to get off.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you think you'd be successful in your trial with that defense?
I thought so.
Has anyone promised you anything for your testimony here today?
No, ma'am.
Weren't you originally offered immunity for cooperation in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
But you didn't take us up on that
No, ma'am, I didn't.
because you thought you could get off completely.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
And now you're doing a life sentence.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, so about that. So let's go back. Let's just hear that again, just for those in the back, because this is going to be highly relevant to what her lawyers argue. In I'll show you what her lawyers, Krista Koss, argued or said on social media about this. So let's go back and make sure we have this straight. I thought this was a pretty brilliant way to set this up. That you were nothing to do with it? Yes, ma'am.
Here today?
No, ma'am.
Weren't you originally offered immunity for cooperation in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
But you didn't take us up on that
No, ma'am, I didn't.
because you thought you could get off completely.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
And now you're doing a life sentence.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Did Charlie Adelson threaten to?
Okay, so immunity. So that's pretty vague. What we've always heard about that is that she was given 0. So that means immunity. The definition of immunity, you would hold on one momento. I just have to send this to myself. You would think that would mean full immunity, right? But according to Krista Koss, okay, let me just download these and I'll show you in a second. He had, He said something else regarding this. So let us pull it up. Just making room. I have so many pictures here. It's wild. So here. Oh, he also told Mia Wallace to stay at her lane. But he says that he said that she wasn't offered full immunity. She wasn't offered full immunity. And I mean, and that he told a listener, Mia Wallace, to stay in her lane. And that he thinks it's I don't know what's partial immunity? Does that mean that she would have gotten some kind of, everything I hear is that she was offered no jail time. What does immunity mean? Do I have a lawyer in the audience who can argue immunity? Does immunity mean something else besides, here he says, I'm a huge introvert. Here it is. I'm a huge introvert and I hate attention. So no, this wasn't about the media. We turned down many outlets. We can't force our clients. Okay. I came out from hiding to do one thing, to defend, which I'm doing here for Tara and myself. No, we have zero connection to the Adelsons and openly despise them. Did you not see the cross of Wendy? That's Krista Cross is very, DeCosta's very harsh cross of Wendy, which I just got a message. Someone said it was terrible. We can't force because it gave Wendy so many outlets to go. It's an interesting take. We can't force our client, or a compelling take. It's a take that makes me think a lot. We can't force our clients. All we can do is work our butts off preparing, explain chances in trial, convey the best possible deals, and let the client decide. There's also varying degrees of immunity. Normally with transactional full immunity, they wouldn't start by arresting the person, which they did here. What if any immunity she could have gotten was always complicated? Okay, so he says, are you saying that the state did not offer Katie full immunity release in exchange for complete, all-inclusive, honest pro-offer and full cooperation? As in drop the charges and you go free? And he says, he just left it. There's transactional. I mean, how many different levels of immunity do you mean there? So there it is.
You if you told the truth?
No, ma'am, he didn't threaten me.
Did anybody threaten you to keep your silence?
No, ma'am.
And then he told our listener to stay in his own lane. So he's a total sleaze. A total sleaze bag. Let me just show you. Krista Koss. These lying, corrupt criminal lawyers. I loathe them more the more I cover true crime. But what does that mean? How many levels of immunity are there? How many levels of immunity are there? I would love to get Georgia Kappelman's take on this. But just to give you an idea of what a sleaze bag he is, he says, he's directed to stay in her lane. Someone who asks questions. arrogant and belittling is true. Anything is better than mandatory life sentence. Just stay in your lane and let the big boys take care of it. I mean, something like that. When asked questions about this comment about Katie Magbanua's immunity deal, I mean, you're putting yourself out to ask questions about immunity. Seriously, dude, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's so bizarre, isn't it? Anyway, back to Katie Magbanua's testimony.
Did anybody promise you anything if you remained silent all these years?
I wasn't promised anything, but I mean, I wasn't promised anything.
Go ahead, finish your thought. You weren't promised anything, but what?
She was given help by the Adelson family. I think they helped her with her lawyers. They told her if she stayed silent, this is my take. And now, of course, she was asked to give proof that she had two different lawyers, Tara Kawas and Krista Kost, and they came with a hefty price, 2 trials, and she had to prove to the judge in an in-camera meeting that she was paying for it, and apparently she could prove that she paid for it to the judge's satisfaction. But I don't think they looked deeply. I would think that that money could have been moved from the Adelsons to her account in some way. They could have given her moldy, stapled money to deposit in her parents' account or her family's account, but they were not a rich family, and they paid for 2 trials. And the message was, and her lawyers were communicating with Charlie Adelson's lawyer. So you stay silent and we'll all stay silent and we'll all be okay.
I thought everything was going to be okay.
You thought.
See how that goes? See, she doesn't want to say it there. She's holding back, and Georgia picks up on it. Let's look at it again.
Did anybody promise you anything if you remained silent all these years?
I wasn't promised anything, but I mean, I wasn't promised anything.
Go ahead, finish your thought. You weren't promised anything, but what?
I thought everything was going to be okay.
You thought you'd be acquitted.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, did you know Dan Markell?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you have any personal beef with him?
No, ma'am, I did not.
What was your motivation for becoming a part of this murder plot?
Financially.
So not as a favor to Charlie Adelson?
Objection, Your Honor. What is the objection?
I'll rephrase it, Your
Sorry.
Honor. Was it a favor to Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay, but your primary motivation was not favor to Charlie Adelson?
Well, yes, ma'am, it was. And financially.
All right, because you were going to get paid for your
Yes.
part?
Yes,
How much
ma'am.
did you get paid?
I don't know the exact amount.
I don't know the exact amount. How do you split half a boob job? It sounds like he gave her mother a cruise. All the financial money that was being dripped into my account bit by bit.
What was your relationship to Charlie Adelson?
He was my ex-boyfriend.
When did you meet him?
I believe that was in 2013.
Do you know what month?
Also, we know that Donna signed those checks to Katie Magbanua. So that's also another damning thing. And did Donna help make some of those more of those payments that we don't know about?
Has to be around September.
Was there more contact between Katie and Donna than we know about? Because right after Robert Adelson, the person she wants to harm, remember, and this is interesting that their lawyers use the word harm, because how did Charlie Adelson ask Katie to murder Dan Markel? He wanted to know if she knew anyone who could harm someone. The euphemisms. Euphemisms. We'll have to find out till Donna's trial what evidence the state has of this, if any, of these attempted hit jobs from jail.
Can you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
He's sitting over there with a blue jacket and a blue tie.
I'm sorry, guys.
The record reflects the witnesses identified the defendant.
The record will reflect.
Sure, you
Sorry about that.
what it marked as states 48. You recognize this exhibit?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
How do you recognize it?
That's when we went to Key West.
Is that a fair and accurate photo of you and Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am, it
Is
is.
that when the two of you were taken, when the two of you were dating?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, at this time, I ask to move into evidence states 48.
Okay, objection. No objection, Your Honor. 48 is admitted.
Do we have that for publication?
Tater, is it your birthday? Is it my moderator's birthday today? What day is it? Happy birthday. July 26th. Are you a Leo or are you a Cancer? What is that?
So was this photo taken before or after the murder?
Before.
Who came up with the idea to kill Dan Markel?
Charlie.
So those screenshots that were up, you couldn't miss them, were from Mia Wallace's Instagram, who does a lot of Instagrams concerning this case about Chris DeCoste, who was Katie Magbanua's lawyer. But he's basically said, leave it to the adults and stay in your lane. And I mean, it's just total bravado. I don't know. What are the levels of immunity? Do you mean that maybe she could have got a conviction for a felony conviction and that the immunity part would be, I don't know, immunity would be, that the immunity would be, I don't know, would be that the prison would be waived. It would be considered time served. I mean, but that doesn't sound like immunity. It sounds like something else.
So Sigfredo Garcia didn't come up with the idea?
No, ma'am, he did not.
Luis Rivera didn't come up with the idea?
No, ma'am, he did not.
When did the defendant first bring this idea up to you?
My first recollection was around Halloween of 2013.
Around Halloween or on the actual?
On Halloween, yes, ma'am.
All right. What?
Okay, so there's the levels. He claims there's levels of immunity. Legal immunity or immunity from prosecution is a legal status wherein an individual or entity cannot be held liable for a violation of the law in order to facilitate societal aims that outweigh the value of imposing liability in such cases. Such legal immunity may be from criminal prosecution or from civil liability. I mean, we know this wasn't from civil liability, so, or were they worried, or was it, or was civil liability not covered? Were they worried about the Markels suing Katie civilly? I mean, come on. It was a terrible idea to let your client not take that. I mean, you can't force your client to take it. But to say that it wasn't such a good deal, essentially, is essentially what he's saying here is that there's levels of immunity. I don't know. I think he's just protecting his image because makes them look both like terrible lawyers, Tara Kawas and Krista Kost, that she didn't take it.
What's your recollection of how that came up?
We were at a Halloween party in Lincoln Road, and right before we were about to go, he got in the car with me and he asked me a question.
What was the question?
Do you know anybody that can harm someone?
And did you know anybody that could harm someone?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Who was that?
Sigfredo.
And at the time, what was your relationship with Sigfredo?
It wasn't the best.
But he was the father of your children, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So were you dating both men at this time, or were you only dating Charlie?
No, I was only dating Charlie.
Okay. And so he, meaning the defendant, initially said, do you know anyone that could harm someone? Was he aware of your connection to Sigfredo Garcia when he made that statement?
Not that I know of. No, ma'am.
Did you suggest Sigfredo Garcia at that time to the defendant?
Somehow I think he knew. Somehow I think the whole purpose of dating Katie, during, I can't remember if it was direct. I think it was direct. Charlie Adelson is asked why he liked Katie. And he was like, she was really smart. I'm not saying she wasn't smart and cute. But I mean, you look at the other women he's dated and I don't know. Katie seems a little bit off the beaten path, a little rough compared. I'm sure the fact that she was connected peripherally to the Latin Kings was the appeal, part of the appeal, certainly.
No, ma'am.
What did you say?
I just said yes and kind of left it alone.
All right. Did it go any further than that at that time?
Not that night.
Right. Did you know who he wanted harmed?
At
that time?
No, ma'am.
All right. Had you become aware during the course of your relationship with him that he had some kind of issue going on with his sister's ex-husband?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
What did you learn about that?
He was just stating that his mom and dad was stressed and that his sister was having problems with her husband and custody of her 2 children.
And when did you learn that the person that the defendant wanted harmed was this ex-husband of the sister?
I believe later on.
All right. And when did you learn the name Dan Markel?
It wasn't until, I don't know if it was on my trial or when Sigfredo got arrested.
Okay. So even when he was killed, you didn't know the name of the person that was being killed?
Yes, I never knew his name.
How did the defendant refer to this person, if not by the name Dan or Danny Markel?
Wendy's husband.
Okay. So you knew that the person that was going to be initially harmed was Wendy's husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you knew that there were issues, or what did you know about the beef with him? He painted this picture that this was a terrible man and making his family go through a lot custody-wise with his sister. Right. And when he would say these things to you, is it in the context of his mom specifically or his family in general?
I believe it was more towards his mom.
Meaning what?
That his mom hasn't been sleeping, his mom is not eating. I know his dad wasn't the best health either, but he would refer to his mom a lot.
All right. And the reason she wasn't sleeping or eating, did that have to do with this ex-husband of Wendy?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever tell the defendant who it was that was going to be doing the job?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Why didn't you say the name Sigfredo to Charlie Adelson?
I always referred to each other as my friend. Neither one of them wanted to really hear each other's names.
And is
I mean, who would want to hear Charlie Adelson's name? Who would want to hear about Charlie Adelson? Oh.
Why is that?
Because Sigfredo was the father of my kids, and I was dating him at that time. I was dating Charlie at that time.
Okay, so Sigfredo Garcia, did he have strong feelings about the defendant?
Yes, he didn't like him.
All right, and is that because you were dating him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and vice versa, you're not going to talk about the child's father with the new boyfriend either?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is it true then that you were sort of walling these two off from each other before the issue of the murder and the conspiracy ever even arose?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that pattern continue throughout the murder conspiracy?
Yes, ma'am, it did.
Do you think Charlie Adelson knew that it was your child's father that you were going to?
He might have had an idea, but he just never said it out loud.
I think he had more than an idea. I think he knew. I think he knew how close. Here's Chris DeCoste, Katie Magbanua's lawyer. I'm a huge introvert again and hate attention. I'm sure, so sure. He sure seemed like an introvert. So no, this wasn't about the media. We turned down many outlets. We turned down many outlets like Dateline. I came out from hiding to do one thing, defend, which I'm doing here for Tara and myself. No, we have zero connections to the Adelsons and openly despise them. Did you not see the cross of Wendy? We can't force our clients. All we can do is work our butt off preparing and explain chances in trial, convey the best possible deals, and let the client decide. There are also varying degrees of immunity. Normally with transactional full immunity, they wouldn't start by arresting the person, which they did here. What if any immunity she could have gotten was always complicated? Really? It doesn't sound complicated. Certainly doesn't sound complicated the way Georgia Kappelman's describing it. It sounds like he's embarrassed because first they thought that they could get her off. And also it financially benefited him. And he does not like the allegation that they worked against their client's best interest for their own monetary interest. Also, this was a big case. The more trials, 2 trials for them. Whoever had heard about Tara Kawas or Chris DeCoste before or since? It's the kind of publicity that money can't buy. There would be the arguments for why they would encourage or not argue to the death as to why their client, to Katie, as to why she should take that deal. She takes the deal, they don't get paid and they don't get any attention. No film trial for them. And so, but that is a allegation. If that allegation turned out to be true, that they did it for their own benefit, that they put their own interest before their client, that is something that could possibly disbar them. They could lose their license over something like that. That could be proven. So, I mean, there are motivations for him to come out and say, oh no, I just would believe Georgia Kappelman before I would believe Chris DeCoste.
There's one phone call between, I think it's from Sigfredo Garcia to Harvey Adelson, father of the defendant. Do you know anything about that phone call? That was on July 1st of 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you know about that phone call?
From the trial, what I remember was that Sigfredo had contacted or was trying to contact Charlie, but we were in a heated argument at that time. We were kind of in the middle of the street, and I guess it's the first thing he looked up was his work number.
All right. So you say you're in a heated argument. Is this the confrontation that occurred while you and the defendant were going jet skiing?
I believe that was after.
It was after that incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many interactions personally, face to face, did, to your knowledge, Charlie Adelson have with Sigfredo Garcia?
That was probably the only one that I remember, was that jet ski accident.
Accident?
Or like the confrontation.
All right. Tell us what happened at that confrontation.
Sigfredo had just picked up the kids and he was eating at a corner pizza place with the kids, and he saw that Charlie was coming by to go pick me up, and I guess saw the jet skis in the back of the car. So he loaded up the kids and cut us off, was screaming a couple things out loud, but we didn't really hear anything because our windows was up.
All right. Did you say he cut you off? Do you mean in traffic?
In the back street of where I lived at that time.
All right. And when you say he cut you off, did he run you off the road or something else?
He kind of just went right and blocked the road in front of us. So Charlie had to kind of do a 3-point turn and go around the other way.
Did the two men actually get out into the street and confront each other?
No, ma'am, they did not.
Okay. Were any actual words exchanged through the windows?
Through the windows, yes, but I had my window up, so we didn't know what Sigfredo was saying.
All right. So Sigfredo shouted some things out the window. Did Mr. Adelson do the same?
No, he did not.
And what were the things that were shouted out the window? Were you able to hear them or not?
I didn't hear anything.
All right. And at this point, this is July 1st of 2014, the plot is already underway to do this murder, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Does Sigfredo Garcia know that he's doing the murder for Charlie Adelson?
To my knowledge, he might have had an inkling about it, but I don't know. That was never spoken of.
Okay. The killers, and when I say the killers, I'm referring to Garcia and Rivera, knew they were doing something for a lady to get her kids back. Do you know how they knew that information?
I believe it's because of the envelope that Charlie gave me to pass over.
So you didn't relay that information to them that it had to do with a lady and her kids?
I might have mentioned it to Sigfredo, yes.
Okay. So if you mentioned that to Sigfredo, would you be, I guess, were you intentionally trying to characterize this job as being related to someone other than Charlie Adelson?
I believe so, yes.
Is that because Sigfredo Garcia would not have wanted to do anything to help out Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So do you think Sigfredo knew that this lady with the kids was somehow connected to Charlie Adelson?
I believe so.
All right. And there was going to be a lot of money paid for this job, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know anybody else with that kind of money or that might have had that kind of money to get this job for them?
No, ma'am, I did not.
All right. You mentioned the paper. Luis Rivera said there was a paper that Sigfredo had when they came to do the murder. Do you know anything about that paper?
No, ma'am, I don't.
All right. Did you provide a paper to Sigfredo Garcia?
Yes, I did.
All right. And when you say you don't know anything about it, but you gave it to him, you obviously know something about it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell us I know what you're trying to say is you don't know what was on the paper.
The content of it. Yes.
Tell us how you got the paper.
One moment. Mr. Ratliff. Ms. Kappelman, please use open-ended questions.
Tell us how you came into possession of this paper that the killers had.
Okay. One day, just a random night that I was over at Charlie's house, he had a manila envelope that was sealed. He told me, Katie, do not open it. Do not touch it. Do not look inside it. I didn't print this paper out.
How much do you want to bet? It had pictures of Dan Markel. It had his address. What else? What else do you think was in there?
From my office, printed it probably from another office, and basically give that paper to the other person.
All right. And who is saying this?
This was Charlie.
All right. This defendant.
Yes, ma'am.
So he says to you, I have this paper. How does he give it to you?
I had a diaper bag, so he showed me the envelope, and I was like, just put it in there.
Did he express any concerns about fingerprints being on the envelope or the contents?
Yes, ma'am. He said he wore a glove so that there's no fingerprints on it. He was very specific about me not opening it and not looking inside it. And he also told me that he didn't print it from his office.
All right. And what about licking the envelope?
And that he didn't lick the envelope.
He said he did not lick the envelope?
He did not lick that.
And what was the purpose of that?
I guess his DNA.
Okay. So did you touch the envelope?
It was in my diaper bag, but I don't remember if I never opened it, but I might have touched it just to stick it inside in my diaper bag.
And did you deliver the envelope to Sigfredo Garcia?
I must have contacted Sigfredo and just told them, hey, come by the house. And then, he was kind of in and out of my life. So he'd pop up. He literally got the envelope. I was like, you have something inside that bag. And then he grabbed it, stuffed it in his pants, and left.
Okay. In regards to the June trip that the killers made, did you provide Garcia or Rivera with any money for expenses associated with that trip?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And where did you get the money from to do that?
From Charlie Adelson.
Can you tell us about that? What was the context of you getting that money?
Sigfredo would just ask me, hey, I'm going to need some money. I need to go out of town. And I'm like, okay. So then I'd go to Charlie, or I'd be at Charlie's house, and I'll tell him I need some money for the expenses.
And he gave you some money?
Yes, ma'am.
About how much money, if you know?
I can't recall, but it was a couple $100.
So this thing started back in October of 13 and doesn't get done until July of 14. Can you describe whether there's any pressure as time is going on and this thing is not getting done?
Trying to remember, like in the beginning of the year, I don't think there was really much. I mean, he's been planting this seed in my head that this needed to get done. This needed to get done. And I guess towards probably around June, July is when he was a little bit more adamant about this job getting done.
Okay. And when you say he, you're talking about who?
Charlie.
Did you ever have any contact with any other Adelson about this job?
No, ma'am.
In the context of, this needs to get done, this pressure getting put on you, is there ever a mention of the mom, Donna, or the divorce situation in the context of getting it done?
At that time, not that I could recall.
Will you publish 35, please? Is this you on the left side of the screen?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Right. And where was this picture taken?
This was in South Beach. I believe the building that they were living at where Charlie's parents were living at.
Is that the Icon?
I don't think that was the Icon. It was somewhere in First and Ocean.
Okay, so a different residence.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And this photo, was this the first time you'd ever met Wendy, or had you already known Wendy before this photo?
I met her one time prior to this because I believe this was in Father's Day. So I met her around spring break when I had dinner with her and Jeffrey.
Okay. So the Yardbird restaurant?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So this was the second time you'd met her.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a relationship with her outside of her being Charlie's sister?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you communicate with her by phone or through any apps or anything like that?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you receive any communication from her specifically about the homicide?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did Wendy ever give you any money or other gifts?
No, ma'am, she did not.
Did anybody pay you for your part in the murder other than Charlie Adelson?
No, ma'am, they did not.
All right. And the payments from Charlie Adelson, did those include the checks that were signed by his mother from
Yes,
the Adelson
ma'am.
Institute?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
There it is. Very damning. Signed by his mother. Deborah was like, we don't have this woman on staff. What's this for? They won't pay $5,000 in a bribe. They won't take care of Tato, Hoo-ho. But they'll take care of Katie, constantly buying her stuff. The pretty Pennywise Adelson family.
Did you perform any job at the Adelson Institute?
No, ma'am, I did not.
You didn't go up there and clean on the weekends?
No, ma'am, I did not.
On the night of the murder, did you go to the defendant's house?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And where was that house, or what house was that?
That was in Whale Harbor in Fort Lauderdale.
All right. And did you get payment for the murder that night?
I believe it was the following morning.
Were you in a panic when you arrived at his house?
Was I in a panic?
In a panic.
I wasn't in a panic, but Charlie was.
Okay, explain that. How was he acting?
When I opened the door, he was kind of frantic, and he had a gun in his hand, and he was just all over the place.
Was that normal behavior for him?
Not having a gun in his hand, no, ma'am.
All right. Did you know him to have a gun prior to that?
Yes, ma'am. He has a gun safe.
All right, but he just didn't usually carry around in his hand?
Yeah, he's never had it in his hand.
Turn the phone off, please.
Yeah, in New York federal courts, you have to check your phone. There's none of that. Although, when I was a juror in criminal court, they let people walk in with their phones. You don't have to check your phone, but in federal court, you do have to check your phone. I just think I think they should do that for all cases and trials. I think it's just such a distraction to have phones in there. And when I was at the Nexium trial, Keith Ranieri's trial, the Nexium Cold Guru, the gentleman before me, we had to go through 2 metal detectors, so that they were so worried that someone was going to come in, and I'll use Donna Adelson's lawyer's euphemism, harm Keith Ranieri, that we went through the regular metal detectors and checks of our bags and taking off your shoes and all that downstairs. And then then there was another metal detector we had to go through before we got to the courtroom. And that second metal detector, meaning that this journalist in front of me got his tape recorder, which was a big no-no, through the first metal detector. And the second one, he got busted right in front of me. And they were pissed. Really nice people, nice security staff at the Brooklyn Federal Courthouse. But whoa. So there's no recording devices, no cameras, no phones for that purpose. And it works because there aren't these distractions. And I find it helpful to zero in and really listen, to not have your phone there, or phones in general going off or distracting. It's just a general respect for the courtroom. I don't know why more courthouses would be an easy way to get to employ someone. It's basically like you have hat check, coat check person. You check in. Also, other things that people can check are cigarette lighters, things like that. They can check things that are not allowed in.
What was he saying to you when he was in this frantic state?
I can't really recall because he had given me some Xanax, so it was a little blurry that night, and I just fell asleep. I think we both fell asleep. So,
all right. Can you tell the jury whether the excitement that he was showing had to do with the murder or something else?
Yes, ma'am. It had to do with that.
Okay. Was anybody else there at his residence when you arrived?
At that day, no, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ever see his parents at the residence?
No, I didn't see his parents.
Okay. How was the money packaged when you got it? I think you said you got it the next morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How was it packaged?
It was in a plastic. The money was in a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag, that was inside a brown bag, and then like a grocery bag over it.
And was the money stapled?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Can you explain how it was stapled? Like what size bills and what increments were stapled together?
I believe it was stapled in, I never counted it, but it was like in a stack and it was stapled in the corner.
All right. Were they $100 bills or something else?
They were $100 bills, and there was some 20s and 50s.
Okay. And was the money damp?
Do you say, you don't say, was the money damp? Was the money damp? What a strange question.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay.
Wait.
And was the money damp?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Explain what you mean to the jury.
A couple days after that, I went and I opened the bag and I called Sigfredo and I told him, I was like, there's mold on this money. And he's like, well, blow dry it. And I was like, but why would there be mold on the money? And he's just, I don't know, just blow dry it. So I believe his parents or his mom might have washed the money.
You mean like physically wash the money?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just washed the money. What's the big deal? I didn't want our fingerprints on it. Now that I have this sore throat, it's even, I think my Donna impression is better. We just washed the money. We just washed it. Of course, we're not going to have our fingerprints on the money, our DNA. We washed it. What? We laundered the money. Isn't that what they mean when they say launder the money? Kind of reminds me of this. Anybody remember this?
I don't know. You just put it in and just kind of go to town and talk about yourself.
Stop the murder trial with a shake of my head. Watch the public's jaw drop. You would have thought they were made of lead. Underestimate me and you'll see what you get. Charlie's never wrong because Charlie's always right. I'm not Fredo, I'm Charlie. I'm not dumb, I'm right. I'm the maestro. It's spelled out on the back of my Ferrari. I'm the maestro. I ordered the paella. Don't forget the calamari. A phone call, it might be the longest hour you've ever spent. Call me maestro. Lucky girls get to hear me talk about myself as I go to town. Leave them unsatisfied, but they would still come round. I got staple money in my safe, I'm ready to spend. But that was all before I got done for murder. Now I'm doing lava in the state pen. I'm the maestro. It's spelled out on the back of my Ferrari. I'm the maestro. I ordered the paella. Don't forget the calamari. Oh, got stable money in my safe for money to spend. But that was all before I got done for murder. Now I'm doing L-pop in the state fair. I'm mad at the jury for not seeing a reasonable doubt. Who hasn't been? It started on the lap and keeps payment plan for a set amount. Asked the gang members why they were so sensitive to my feelings. Georgia mesmerized the jury. You would have thought she was Houdini. I'm the maestro. It's spelled out on the back of my Ferrari. I'm the maestro. I ordered the paella. Don't forget the calamari. I'm the maestro. It's spelled out on the back of my Ferrari. I'm the maestro. I ordered the paella. Don't forget the calamari. I'm all down with the maestro. I'm the maestro. I'm the maestro. I'm the maestro.
Okay. Okay. Just a little musical break there.
Why do you think his mom did it?
Because he was always adamant about telling me he didn't have any money in his house. And he told me that his parents had just stopped by right before I got there. So all of a sudden he had money to put in the trunk of my car the following morning.
Money, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm sorry.
Was the money already sorted out and packaged when you first saw it, or was he doing that?
No, it was already stacked and sorted out.
Okay. And did he have to, so he didn't have to go anywhere to get the money. He already had it when you arrived.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there any argument that night about the money or the next morning?
With me and Charlie?
Yes.
No.
Did you, I guess you did stay there that night? You may have already said that.
Yes, I fell asleep.
Was there any argument with the defendant at all about anything that night?
No, ma'am. Not that I can recall.
Did you threaten him in any way?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Judge, maybe you could sidebar. Sure.
You may continue with your examination.
Did you, the night that you went to get the money, did you threaten Charlie Adelson in any way?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you try to extort money out of him?
No, ma'am, I did not.
The money that he gave you, is that something that had already been discussed or agreed upon in reference to this homicide?
Well, I believe yes, because it was going to be payment for this.
You weren't, well, were you sent with a message from Sigfredo to tell him he better give it up or else?
No, ma'am.
Did you relay to the defendant that his family was in danger if he didn't give you whatever it was you were asking for?
No, ma'am.
His family was in danger. If he didn't pay $3,000 a month, it's a very, very reasonable payment plan. I mean, that was just the most ridiculous defense. And now we're going to see it. Charlie Adelson's defense 2.0 with Donna Adelson. Sounds like.
How did Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera get paid for their part in this murder?
That morning, when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I gotta go. So I drove back down and I was trying to look for Sigfredo and having a hard time that morning. And then eventually I made it to the alleyway of where Luis's building was.
Was that on
North Miami?
Yes.
In like 135th.
Where he lived with Jessica?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
And I was just waiting in the car and all of a sudden Sigfredo just like popped up and got inside the passenger seat.
All right, so they got their money from you?
Yes, ma'am. Sigfredo did.
And Rivera got paid as well, didn't he?
Just a little bit more information about Donna Adelson's, the wiretap on Harvey Adelson. So it went from December 2024. So it sounds like the application was on the 19th of December 2024. And or the undersigned counsel has already determined factual assertions made in the January 19th affidavit to be false. Okay, so they claim that these are false allegations about this hit list. That's what the defense says. Let's see what happens with Donna's trial. Maybe it'll all be a big nothing burger. But this is also the same defense that says Donna wasn't fleeing with a one-way ticket to Vietnam looking for a non-extradition country. She was just looking to clear her head. So excuse me for being a little skeptical. Significantly, the memorandum documents that neither Harvey Adelson engaged in any behavior with a potential witness which justified the overreach by the state approved by the court. So this ended in February. You see here. So this ended in February 2025. Significantly, on April 8th, April 9th, and April 10th, counsel for Mrs. Adelson discussed where there are facts addressed above, namely that Judge Everett had ex parte communications with the state and contents of the affidavits presented during the ex parte communications. So they say that her lawyer should have been there. So she was wiretapped again. All right. Back to Katie Magbanua's trial.
I believe so, yes.
All right. I want to draw your attention to what we're calling the bump. You know what we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After the bump and the subsequent conversations were occurring, did you have any contact with any other Adelson about the bump other than Charlie Adelson?
No, ma'am.
So you didn't talk to Wendy about it?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Didn't talk to Harvey or Donna about it?
No, ma'am, I did not.
On the Dolce Vita meeting, do you recall what meeting I'm referencing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Was that a restaurant that you met Charlie at after the bump?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In that meeting, and the jury hasn't heard this yet, but he's saying one of two scenarios. This is one of two scenarios. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What were the one of two scenarios? What were the two scenarios?
What he was speaking of was probably the FBI or Tato blackmailing.
And by Tato, you mean Rivera?
Louis Rivera, yes, ma'am.
Were you
Tato, I don't know this Tato. But what she's talking about here is just always makes me laugh when she says scenarios, because when she took the stand in her own defense and lied under oath, she was saying, well, I didn't know what Charlie was talking about. He was just talking scenarios. She said scenarios so many times on the stands. It was just scenarios. It was just scenarios. It was just scenarios. But strangely, she knows exactly what those scenarios were. I didn't know what he meant. It was just scenarios. It was just Charlie running his mouth. I didn't know. It was some scenarios, some vague scenarios. She seems pretty sure what she knows these scenarios to be.
Concerned about that as well?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And what did you do to try to figure out who it was that had approached Donna Adelson?
I asked Sigfredo.
So he was supposed to be looking into it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Tinfoil Hat Society, for becoming a channel member. I appreciate the support. Enjoy the emojis. There's a lot of emojis. Feel free to use them. Also, I got to get up some new ones for Donna's trial in anticipation of Donna's trial. It'll be fun.
Were you there whenever he did whatever he did to try to find out who it was?
Was I where?
Were you present when Sigfredo, I guess, went out and talked to people about whether?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Because at that time, was Rivera in custody?
Yes, ma'am. He was already doing his federal sentence, I believe.
Marcia, I'd love for you to help me out. I am not a graphic designer. Everything you see on this channel, I do myself, except for my logo, which I traded my girlfriend cat sitting for, who is a designer. But everything else that you see on this channel, from the thumbnails to the videos, I've had to learn how to do myself. So I appreciate it. Send me an email at robertaglass23@gmail, please. I appreciate it. So they have to be a certain size. You can look online. I think it's like, I don't want to say, but they're small. They have to be pretty small.
So was the concern that maybe some of his associates might have done this?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe he had run his mouth about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you reviewed what I had marked for U.S. States Exhibit 111, the Dolce Vita recording with the transcript attached?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And does the transcript in that exhibit accurately reflect the words that were said at that meeting between yourself and the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
When the defendant described the bump to you, strike. When you were speaking with Charlie Adelson and also Sigfredo Garcia about this bump, did you speak in code?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And what was the purpose of speaking in code?
Had to just piggyback with what Charlie was speaking to me in code. So I kind of was like, okay, if he's talking in codes, kind of speaking codes as well.
Was the concern that the calls could be being recorded?
My concern was more that I was at work. So I really didn't want to say any phone numbers out loud or speak of what was going on.
I'm going to approach and show you what I've marked as states demonstrative A.
Really? It's not
Have you seen this before?
It's not a good look to talk about the murder for hire that you're participating in at work. That's not a good look. I'm shocked.
Or I don't know if you have.
No, ma'am, I have not.
All right. And it's got several items listed here as code words with the actual meaning next to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you take a moment to and the ones in red are the ones used by you. The ones in yellow are used by Charlie Adelson.
Okay.
Will you review this exhibit and just tell me if it's accurate as far as what the code means?
Yes, ma'am, it's accurate.
Oh, do you see Charlie pleading with his eyes? Pleading with his eyes, don't say it's a code. And you can see the shorts I just put out. I put them out early for members, but they're out now for everybody. But the shorts I did where Charlie's like, there was just too much TV talk. TV's 5. He basically blames his conviction because, of course, it can't be anything he did. He did everything perfectly. But if Wendy hadn't driven by the crime scene right after the murder, he wouldn't be convicted. And the TV talk. So he knows how bad this. I mean, you can see him turn a whiter shade of pale during this part. I mean, just take a look. Look at that. That is a nervous Charlie Adelson there. That is unhappy Charlie Adelson right there.
Yes, ma'am, it's accurate.
Judge,
Oh, do you see the long blink? Oh, it's like someone just punched him in the gut there. Let's watch that again.
Yes, ma'am, it's accurate.
Judge, at this time, I'd ask to make use of state's demonstrative A.
Any objection?
Yeah, I see it.
See, Dan Rashdown was trying to
We have an agreement with a couple redactions.
Very well.
trying to minimize the blow for Charlie Adelson, trying to minimize.
Take those notes.
The first one we have is $65.70. And again, jury hasn't heard these calls yet, but when you were talking to Sigfredo Garcia about $65.70, were you referring to the undercover phone number?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Okay. And then when you're talking to Charlie about an agent, were you talking about, it seems like you're talking about real estate agent, but are you talking about the undercover agent that approached his mother?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Right. And the CD, was that reference to a recording that the Adelsons made of their contact with the undercover?
A recording of their contact with them?
Yes.
That they were being recorded?
No, that they called undercover.
Yes, ma'am.
And recorded it.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever actually hear that recording?
No, ma'am, not until my trial.
And then the client, there's a lot of discussion about this client or this tenant. You need to find out if this is going to be a good tenant or a bad tenant.
Yes, ma'am.
Was the tenant this person, if it really was a blackmailer, this thug that's somehow affiliated with Rivera?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the false lead or the phishing, what did that mean? There's a lot of discussion about, I hope it's just somebody phishing. Do you remember that?
From the phone calls?
Yes, this is all from the phone call.
Yes, ma'am.
It was one of the two scenarios that it could be law enforcement.
Yes, ma'am. But this was Charlie basically saying this the whole time. He's the one who's coming up with all the scenarios.
Okay, but when he's talking about the scenarios, he's talking about phishing.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
doesn't say law enforcement phishing.
No, ma'am.
He says it could be, a tenant or a patient or something like that.
Anything but what?
Judge, I'm just going to object to the leading.
Please rephrase your question.
Ms. Kappelman, sustained.
About the listing or the properties, what did that refer to?
About the paperwork. It's pretty
Like
accurate.
looking into a listing.
Yes, the listing, because I worked in a real estate agency at that time. So he was just telling me, look into the listing. Oh, this will be a good investment. So it was really Charlie saying all these words.
What did the good and what might the good of?
How do you examine on direct Katie Magbanua without leading, because she's so reluctant to give up her part? She still hasn't. And if you look at her depositions and her they're terrible. They're just, she still can't really come clean with all of it. I think she knows sitting on a whole lot more. She wants to just do the bare minimum, because it's just not, she can't really admit her own guilt. She keeps saying, but Charlie's saying this. It doesn't matter. You're basically like a translator, Katie. You're asking to translate these code words, no matter who brought them up, for the jury. Spill it.
Can't talk. What might the good investment have been?
if he had a good lead.
If it was a blackmailer
Yes.
that you could pay off.
Yes,
Objection,
ma'am.
Your Honor. Leading.
Overruled.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. All right, we talked about the two scenarios. The paperwork, what was that?
That was the paper that was handed to his mom by the undercover.
On the Dolce restaurant meeting, we see Charlie Adelson pull out a piece of paper. Was
Yes,
that the actual piece of paper that was handed to his mother?
I believe so. I just never saw it. He never showed it to me.
Okay. Did he give you a phone number off of that piece of
He
paper?
did. That was that phone number that we just can't seem to get right. The 6570.
Okay.
That said, she was an excellent witness, though. She didn't, except for the beginning, when she was, when she held back a little bit, and her holding back just in general, she comes across as a truthful witness, an honest witness, and it's consistent with all the other witnesses in this case. This is very hard for Donna Adelson to get out of. I mean, I just remember it like yesterday. They go, oh, why is the state even calling her? She lied. The best that Dan Rashbaum could do to put a dent into Katie Magbanua's credibility was when he brought up the fact that she had an appeal going at the same time that she's testifying, saying she had nothing to do with it. This crime. That was a landing punch. Aside for that, I don't remember any of the anything landing. He did the only way for you to get out of jail or prison is in a box or to cooperate with the state. So of course you're going to cooperate and they'll say anything they want. But if you had nothing to do with it, it's awfully hard to be fed the detailed information like the moldy money, et cetera, et cetera. You know, a lot of details that you got to know and timings that would be hard to memorize. I mean, if she were really given all this information by the state, she would say, oh, I met with Wendy and Donna. Why not? Why not throw the whole family under the bus? Boy, this is just not so helpful to the state. If they really fed her all this information, let's say, just like Charlie and Donna want to say, boy, it's awfully mild. If you have a witness who will be totally your puppet, why not say she met with Donna and Wendy and they gave her cash? And I mean, we know that they hung out at the beach. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about it as far as the planning of the murder, the whole family she was in on. She had talked to them many times. I mean, that would really be helpful for them. But I'm curious to hear those wiretaps of Harvey if they're going to come into the case. I would think so. I would think you talk about consciousness of guilt or to show guilt. What innocent person would be trying to pick off witnesses in their case? That's if it's true. It may not be true. What information came, or if she wasn't trying to eliminate witnesses, was she trying to pay off witnesses? Let's hear the extent of Drina Bernhardt's testimony. And I'm sure Donna Adelson's lawyer are going to say, you can't trust her. She's a felon. Also, interesting to note about Drina Bernhardt, another interesting thing about her. Do you guys know that she was missing for a while? There was like a search for her in Tallahassee. Hold on. Let me just show you. This was July 13th, 2028. She looks so different here. But missing endangered person, woman last seen Friday in area of Atafa, Neen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Tallahassee Police Department. Let me just get rid of this thing on the bottom here. The Tallahassee Police Department is seeking information about the location of Drina Bernhardt, a 38-year-old, last seen on Friday. Look how different she looks there. Oh, no, you can't see it. Oh, no. How is it coming up like that? Let me take a screenshot for you. Hold on, guys. I can't believe I've never even seen that being done before. Never even, oh, now you can see it. Okay. All right. But there she is. Doesn't she look different? Here, let me go up to the missing endangered person. Woman last seen Friday. The Tallahassee Police Department is seeking information about the location of Drina Bernhardt, a 38-year-old, last seen on Friday while in the area of the 1500 block of Atafanine. She was seen wearing a white t-shirt, white pants, and no shoes. So was she homeless? She's about 5 feet tall. Tallahassee Police Department expressed concern for her welfare, and please call them at blank number. But look how different from that to, let me just, to how she looks in her more recent mugshot here. Wow, huh?
At any time after, I know we talked about the night of the money, that you got the money, but at any time after that, did you ever blackmail Charlie Adelson?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you ever?
That didn't just happen. That was 2018. She was missing for a while. And police were concerned about her welfare because she was last seen wearing no shoes. So I wonder if she went through a period of homelessness.
Threaten him in any way?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you relay any threats on behalf of Sigfredo Garcia?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did anyone ever make you extort any money or other favors out of Charlie Adelson?
No, ma'am.
Before the murder, had you bragged to Garcia and or Rivera about my new rich boyfriend?
I didn't even know he had money like that.
Well,
he had a good job and, he had a nice house, but I wasn't aware of how, how much money he has.
Okay. But he definitely had more than Sigfredo Garcia.
Oh, yes, ma'am. He did.
Okay. And did you brag to Garcia like, oh, I got a new, better guy?
I'm pretty sure he saw that I was happy and I was, going out to dinners and hanging out with him. So.
Okay. But did you tell them specifically he's got a lot of money?
No, I did not.
Did you tell them specifically he's got this issue with his sister's ex-husband?
I believe I mentioned it. Yes,
Okay.
I did.
And when you talked to them about he's got this issue with the sister's ex-husband, was that in the context of hiring them to do the murder or just in
general?
Okay. So they were aware that he had this issue.
Well, Sigfredo was, yes.
Okay. Did you ever talk to Rivera about it?
No, I did not.
Okay. And when you talked to Sigfredo about it, did he ever say, well, I think I'll just drive to Tallahassee and kill the guy or anything like that?
No, ma'am, he did not.
Red and white, you are thinking of two other witnesses that Donna wanted to use, that she was trying to preserve their testimony before trial. And one was Cassidy. Oh boy, let me get their names. Hold on one second. They're just not coming. Cassidy is the name. I want to say Cassidy, but hold on one second. I will tell you in 1 minute their names, but it wasn't Drina. Drina's the state snitch. These were two other jailhouse friends of Donna's.
Is that something he would have mentioned to you if that was his idea?
Sigfredo doesn't say a lot of things to me, and he likes to keep a lot of things away from me. So I would have never
asked me that or told me that.
Okay. But in this case, I guess, okay. So is it possible that Sigfredo and Rivera came to Tallahassee and did this killing without any communication from you or Charlie Adelson, just on their own?
No, ma'am.
And then
That would
extorted Charlie Adelson through you to get money because they had killed the guy?
No, that'd be impossible. How would they have any information?
Well, they could have seen it on the internet.
No, I don't think so.
When you were talking about Wendy's husband and the problems with him to Sigfredo Garcia, I know you've already said this, but I just want to be crystal clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you say the name Dan Markel?
No, ma'am. I never knew Dan Markel's name.
How was the name Dan Markel?
Okay, there were two women, sorry. Cassidy Conroy and Brittany Purcell. Those were the two jailhouse snitches, the jailhouse witnesses to Katie talking about extortion that Donna wanted to use, i.e., two friends of Donna's she wanted to use that had drug problems.
The location and name of the target for this killing provided to the killers.
I believe it was all the information that was given to Sigfredo, which I got from Charlie, was all in that paper.
Paper provided by this defendant?
Yes, ma'am. Inside the envelope.
Can I have a moment to confer?
Go ahead.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is a victim impact letter. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why it got moved. Please hold. The one I wanted got moved around. My apologies. It's after this. Here we go. So this was written September 15th, 2019, when Judge Hankinson was the judge. To the Honorable James C. Hankinson, I met Danny in the summer of 2005, the year I graduated law school and moved to D.C. to begin a clerkship. It was a strange time for me, no longer student, but not really anything else. Buffeted by aughts, the gnawing need to repay student loans, tick-tock, the need to make friends, to find someone, figure out whether this whole law school run had been a waste. A friend from law school, knowing I knew no one in DC, told me I should meet his friend Wendy. I did, and I enjoyed her company. But it was Danny who took the lead, seemed determined to get me fitted with a life. He hosted me at their apartment for Shabbat dinner and fed me, introduced me to all sorts of prominent professional contacts and to eligible Jewish men. I was a stranger in a strange land, and Danny knew just how such a person should be treated. By opening his home, making them feel cared for, he seemed to believe himself endowed with an outsized set of talents and capacities, and he was. His charge then was to find those in need, share with them what he had. He was the most presumptuously, loving person I have ever known. He never asked if you wanted or needed his advice, inner interest, or love. He just assumed you did. In my case, he wasn't wrong. In the years that I knew him, there seemed to be almost nothing beyond his power. Right out of a law firm, when blogs were just getting going, he started one of the most prominent and popular for law professors, having only just received an academic post himself. He was a consummate and natural host. A few months after I met Danny, he ran into Zach, an undergrad he mentored while in law school, at a wedding. He harassed Zach by phone to get on a plane from Los Angeles and fly to DC to take me on a date. The plan was audacious and Danny relentless. It was also just the push Zach and I needed. More than 13 years and 3 kids later, I marvel still at the power and reach at Danny's endless capacity for love. But it was a blind spot too, as all strengths are. I have no doubt that what propelled him into marriage so quickly with Wendy was his irrefutable belief that he could fix any problem and answer any challenge, that she didn't seem to share some of his values with regard to religious observance, or even that she seemed reluctant to marry him. She broke off their engagement at one point when we were all still in DC, seemed to him mere kinks to work out, not impediments to a happy married life. On October 9th, 2012, soon after Wendy took the kids and left him, he sent his vast number of close friends an email. He told us that he had come home from a work trip to a ransacked home, that Wendy had left and taken the kids, but that he was determined to win her back. He concluded with this: "You all know this, I'm sure, but remember, everything wonderful is also and already fragile. Love mightily while you can." It was just like Danny, really. At the bottom of life's oublet, fretting over what he might impart to the rest of us. I called him soon after receiving the email and opened with, "Just in case it doesn't work out, I've got a girl for you." I thought it would make him laugh, and it did. The irony of my finding Danny someone after he had found someone for me. It just so happened that a friend of mine's sister had recently divorced, but then he started to cry. "What's going to become of my boys?" he said out loud, more to himself or to God than to me. Their connection to Yeshidic is already so attenuated. what's going to become of my beautiful, magical boys. I assured him that he was still their father and they would be fine. A great dad is a powerful thing, even after divorce. He would surely remain a primary influence in their lives. What did I know? All deaths are a loss, but I can't help thinking Danny's measures far greater than most. He gave love so generously from such abundant store. He never quit tending his friends, offering his help. Our loss is profound, but his boys' loss is infinite. They would have received the lion's share of all that he was and whatever he had. They don't even know. Sincerely, Abigail Schreier. That's what I have for today, folks. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Leave me a comment. Please support the channel. I can't do it without you. Links are in the description of this episode. You can buy me a coffee, send me a Venmo, or become a Patreon member where you get access to content you won't get anywhere else. Have a great night, everybody.
What a stitch you're in. You plotted a murder 'cause you wanted to raise your daughter's kid. Tallahassee is just a stop on the way to civilization. Miami is where all the fancy people are. The TV is a Power 5. You can't get away from that. Two-toe, tay-toe, hoo-ho, you know the guy you pay, and you can't get away from that. Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You thought jail was just for the little people, but now you're sold blankets with the locked-up crew. You're a grandmother in lockdown, and your one-way ride to freedom you blew. What a stitch you're in. Your family are exiled from the social circles you swam in. We all know you never made that banana bread or offered to babysit for Dan, but you'll soon be making license plates and thinking about what